Think Different TV, live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hosted by me, your girl Lashia. Join me as I discuss social topics, spotlight independent artists, and share financial tips. Join the conversation. I want to hear what you have to say. Think Different TV, where minds meet. You're the reason I wake up, the reason I smile. What? You mean to tell me Think Different TV has their own merch website? I just don't believe it. What? They have hoodies, mugs, toddler tees, kid classic pullovers, bucket hats, stainless steel water bottles, woman comfort tees, crew socks, kids premium tees, baby onesies, even a premium cotton t-shirt for men. And what is that? You can use the code EARLYBIRD to get 5% off of your order. And if you have Afterpay, you can split the payments. Oh my gosh, like this is just unbelievable. What colors do we have? Ooh. Fancy.
Hey, you're watching my mommy on Think Different TV.
Hello. Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Think Different TV. I am your host, Lashia. This is where minds meet, guys. And this is going to be a crazy episode because there is a topic that I want to discuss that I find very important to discuss. And sorry, y'all, I'm looking crazy. Okay. So a little background what's going on with my makeup. All right. So boom. All right. If y'all know it's a little crazy today, it's because one, the light in my room went out. And so I had to do it with basically no lighting. I think I did a pretty good job considering, but I'm usually a little bit better with this. So just don't focus too much in here today. You know, focus on what I'm saying. Because I feel a little crazy right now. But yeah, just went out. So I gotta change the light bulb. And my ceilings are like super high, so it's like, it's like a whole chore to do it. Anyway, what's up, y'all? I hope y'all had a great weekend. There was a lot that happened this past week. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. There, that should be better. There was a lot happening this week. So Biden just decides he doesn't want to run no more. Yeah. So it was a lot happening political wise, all of this stuff. Guys, just vote. Just vote to the best of y'all ability at this point because I don't know what to tell y'all anymore. It is a lot going on. But enough about that. This is a good day. It was a beautiful day outside. It was a beautiful weekend. All right. And I enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed yourself too. We're going to get into these quick announcements and then we're going to jump into the topic, which is a hot topic. I can't wait to start discussing it. So just to start off, we have Black Magazine 31. King George is on the front of this issue. He is the CEO of Black Magazine 31. He is shining a light on businesses, artists, people who are making a positive change in the community, and also shedding light on some news that happens that is overlooked by mass media. So if you are someone who wants to support this young Black brother doing his thing and support the artists and the entrepreneurs that he highlights in this magazine, Go to Black Magazine 31 on IG. Make sure you follow this young brother. He is doing big things. And this is the first issue that I was featured in. And then I was featured in this issue with the beautiful India Rose on the cover. It was the Women's History Edition. And I'm just so happy to be a part of his journey. And there's a lot to be said about your network. See, when your network is strong, right? Your network equals your net worth. And I know that with all of the people that are in my circle right now, great things are going to happen. And he is one of those people that's in my circle that I see is going to go very far, and he's not above taking people with him. So with that being said, make sure y'all follow Black Magazine 31 on Instagram. Show that young brother some love. Also, we have Birth by the Code by LO. The album is available on all streaming platforms. Make sure that you go and support this brother. I am on tracks 9 and 13 on this album. It's 19 tracks. All of them are fire. Make sure you go ahead and check it out. It's also available on YouTube if you want to give it a quick listen, but make sure you go and purchase it or stream it, and make sure you support this young brother. Wise Choice Massage Therapy. Wise Choice Massage Therapy is my business. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I offer Swedish deep tissue prenatal and chair massage. I am licensed in the state of Pennsylvania. So if you live in Pennsylvania and you are looking to book a session, you want to have therapeutic massage, you want sports massage, you know, something to relax you, because a lot of people, they don't take advantage of massage. Massage is a very big part of wellness, and a lot of people look at it as a luxury, but it's not a luxury. It is a lifestyle. So make sure that you book your massage today. Do it. Just do it. Also, gotta let y'all know that Think Different TV is not just a TV show that you're watching right now. Think Different TV is a brand and a network. And the network has a lineup, and it is as follows. All right, y'all. So, you know, last week we had a little snafu with StreamYard. So it was a lot of things that wasn't coming up, like namely the videos or even the overlays, the pictures and stuff like that. Before I even get into that, before I get into the topic, I want to jump to these comments real quick. We got sibling rivalry with Tanya and Sin. Good evening, everyone. I am here for the knowledge. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh, Miss Anne, hello. I'm so excited. How are you? I'm so glad to have you aboard the Think Different TV choo-choo train. Woo, 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 woo. Awesome, y'all. Listen, really quickly, I have to upload this video because in my haste, I see that I still have the old episode. So the episode from last week.
Co-hosts from the US Forward podcast will go head-to-head on this episode of Think Different TV's Player Pass. Who will be the outcast? Find out by tuning in Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Think Different TV YouTube channel.
Yeah, so that was last week's episode of Think Different TV's Player Pass. So if you are not following the Think Different TV Player Pass game show page on Facebook, please do so. All right. And we also have an Instagram page, Tdtv Pop Game Show. We do a game show. It's every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is this week's episode.
It's a content creator versus an R&B artist on this episode of Think Different TV's Player Pass. Who will be victorious? Find out by tuning in Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Think Different TV YouTube channel.
There you go. So this week we have BDBGP and we have Swiss Wines going head to head in a battle. My YouTube is Think Different TV. Shout out to my YouTube. I have over 1,100 subscribers. Yay! Super excited about that. If you want to become a subscriber, hey, do it. Do it. Make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any episodes, replays, interviews that Think Different TV is doing. Also, let's share the love by sharing the live. Okay. If you feel like this information that I'm going to share today about human trafficking is information you want to share with your fellow people, listen, share, okay? We want to get as many people on board to get this information because it's very, very important. Also, shout out to Invitation by Jarrell. Queen been rocking out with me since the beginning. And just want to let you know that Think Different TV, which you're watching right now, is on every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the Think Different TV YouTube channel, Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram. And I want to tell all my Instagram fam, thank you for watching. If you want to be seen and heard, you might want to mosey on over to YouTube because StreamYard did not make it possible for us to see any comments from Instagram. So if you are on Instagram right now and you want to be seen and you want to be heard on this topic, on this issue, make sure you mosey on over to YouTube so that you can be a part of the conversation. Also, before I forget, we have a wonderful sponsor. And the sponsor been rocking out with us from the beginning because Think Different TV could not be possible without viewers like you and our sponsors. So let's show our sponsors some love like this.
I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
Sometimes you just gotta do that. Sometimes you gotta drink your water and mind your business, right? Oh, this old thing. Oh, this is my Think Different TV mug that's available on my merch website. I did actually post it in my stories. So if you want to go get you a nice little mug or a hoodie or some socks or a bucket hat, listen, go ahead and check out my merch website. Quick little shameless plug. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty of it all. Have a crazy topic for y'all tonight. And I want to warn you, viewers' discretion is advised. Viewers' discretion is advised. Yes, that's what I want to say. Because this is a very serious topic, but it's also a very touchy topic to discuss. So just letting y'all know that now, because there's going to be some stories. There's going to be some things that y'all see that y'all might not like. And this is just me sharing information for educational purposes, right? We want to educate people on this topic. So edutainment, I'm here to entertain, but I'm also here to educate people on topics. So topic today is human trafficking. So let's do it like this.
I'm coming in hot.
Human traffickers do not have a type. They will target anyone regardless of race, age, or gender. These are 6 signs that someone is being trafficked. If you know these, you might be able to save someone's life. A person isn't able to come and go as they please and someone is under control of them. They are being exploited for their labor and services. They are lacking personal identification documents, or they just have their identity taken away. They are in poor health or they have been essayed or physically abused. They are fearful or under distress. They are living in cramped or unsanitary conditions. This is happening all around us, and if we recognize the signs, it could be one step closer into stopping this. Get this to the right For You page so we can stand a chance against human trafficking.
Human trafficking, dirty business. So, just to let y'all know that in doing research for this topic, it was very draining because to see how many people are trafficked, to see what kind of people traffic other people, to see how they try to, in essence, kidnap people to be in the human trafficking ring. It was very, very draining. All right. I would tell you that last week I was supposed to do this topic, but the videos and stuff wasn't working. And I kind of thank God that happened, because after doing all the research and getting all the clips together and uploading everything that I needed to upload, I was mentally drained. So I'm glad I got my rest. I'm able to come to y'all with this information, and we're going to just jump right on into it. So, human trafficking is the business of stealing freedom for profit. In some cases, traffickers trick, defraud, or physically force victims into providing commercial intercourse. In others, victims are lied to, assaulted, threatened, or manipulated into working under inhumane, illegal, or otherwise unacceptable conditions. All right. So, how it happens? You have luring, establishing a connection in a person or online, in person or online, with the intent of developing a relationship for the purpose of exploitation. So this person is already building a relationship with you under false pretenses. Then there's grooming, identifying and fulfilling the needs and dreams of the individual, for example, by showering them with gifts. So this person starts sending you stuff in the mail. You're like, oh, wow, this guy is great. Or girl is great. And I feel like, we have a really close connection. Then there's isolation, creating distance between the individual and their loved ones. Like, one way it could be like, don't tell your mom and dad that I'm getting you these things, because then I would have to stop getting you these things. Or it could be showing anger whenever there is time taken away from them to spend with your loved ones. So let's say you're about to go with your mom somewhere, but they want to have you online chatting for a long time. They try to use manipulation and say, hey, which takes us to the next one, but they just get angry when you are trying to spend time with your loved ones. This has similar traits to a domestic, a DV relationship. Okay. So it's kind of the same type of things, but this person is doing this for a certain purpose, to put you in a position to be human trafficked. So then there's manipulation and coercion, sending mixed messages, making claims like you owe me, or making threats to cause the individual to feel their only option is to participate in commercial intercourse acts. Okay. So you owe me, like they got you all these gifts while they were grooming you. And now they're like, so I got you that TV for nothing. So I got you this for nothing. I feel like you just took advantage of me. The manipulation begins, right? So the exploitation, ensuring ongoing participation in commercial intercourse acts while taking away their earnings. So in other words, prostitution. All right. So human trafficking. According to the United Nations, human trafficking is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons by improper means such as force, abduction, fraud, or coercion, for an improper purpose, including forced labor or actual exploitation. All right. Now, it is also modern day slavery, exploiting somebody through force, fraud, or coercion. I don't know why. What's wrong with my mouth? I can't say this word. Coercion, sex trafficking, forced labor, and domestic servitude happening everywhere, even in the United States, because the United States is not exempt. In fact, United States is a very, very strong plug for all of this. And any person under the age of 18 involved in a commercial intercourse act. Okay. So, furthermore, also known as modern day slavery, has existed for as long as humans have been around. It's defined as the act of forcing, deceiving, or coercing. You know what? I'm not going to say that word no more. Forcing, deceiving people to move, receive, keep, or gather them for exploitative purposes. The history of human trafficking is complex. It has been shaped by changes in economics, technology, and global dynamics over the centuries. All right. Now, when did it first appear? During the 16th century. Portugal began traveling overseas to Africa to purchase or capture people, enslave them, and take them back to Europe. Other European nations followed. 1525 marked the first slave voyage from Africa to the Americas. So they put it straight and plain. They're like, listen, human trafficking is not new, honey. And you already know, it's just that back then they didn't see us as humans. Okay, they didn't see us as humans, so they were like, is this really human trafficking? This is slavery, but like, there are slaves, they're supposed to do these things, right? So it really didn't matter to them. It wasn't called human trafficking because they didn't even consider us human, right? But now they say that human trafficking is modern day slavery. So they are making the connection to how it was back in the days when Black people were enslaved. But at that time that this was all happening, it was seen as acceptable because, again, they did not see us as humans. Okay. What led up to human trafficking? Instead, human trafficking is fueled by a demand for cheap labor, services, and for commercial intercourse. Human traffickers are those who employ force, fraud, or coercion. Oh my gosh, this word. To victimize others in their desire to profit from the existing demand. So they're like, we see a demand for, people that are actual deviants, people who want to have people do certain things, move things, fix things, plow fields and all this stuff, and they don't want to pay anybody to do it. They want to instead enslave people to do it for them. And so this is how it all came about. This is how it all came about. Because it was like, I'm too lazy to go out there and plow my own field. And I'm too poor to afford to have somebody go out there and plow the field and pay them. So what's the next best thing? Oh, I know. Let's get some sleeves. All right. So that's how it came about. Now, when was the first trafficking persons report released? In 2001, surprisingly. The Trafficking in Persons Report, or the TIP report, is an annual report issued since 2001 by the U.S. State's Department's Office to monitor and combat trafficking in persons. So it's like, all these years done went by, and then y'all finally say in 2001, we're going to create this report that shows who is being trafficked, how often people are being trafficked, how many people are missing and ended up being trafficked, and all this different stuff. Let's gather this data and then turn around and in 2001, let's release this data and make people aware of it in 2001. So it started in the 16th century. We got all the way to the 21st century. That's 5 centuries that don't went by. And then it was like, okay, now let's start documenting this because it's getting kind of crazy. All right. Now, what is the #1 state in human trafficking? Listen, California seems to keep the first place in 15 top states for human trafficking in 2019 as well. Not only it precedes every other country, but the number of reported cases is quite higher compared to the second top trafficking state, Texas, as we have seen. So not only because I did a show on fraud and identity theft and all this different stuff, and California was the #1 state in that, and no secret that California will be the #1 state in human trafficking. You feel me? So here's a hot map. All right, so this shows all the states that have human trafficking. All right. It says states are evaluated on the strength and inclusion of the following 10 statistics on #1, sex trafficking, #2, labor trafficking, number three is forfeiture for human trafficking crimes. 4 is training on human trafficking for law enforcement. Number 5 is human trafficking commission, task force, or advisory committee. Number 6 is posting of a human trafficking hotline. Number 7 is safe harbor. Number 8, no requirement for force, fraud, or coercion for minors. Number 9 is victim assistance. Number 10 is civil remedy, right? So if it's green, that means that 7 to 9 conditions are met. All right, out of the 10. If it's yellow, that means that 5 out of the 6 conditions have been met. If it's orange, it's 3 to 4, and 5, and then the red ones mean that they are the worst states. So they have no type of nothing, okay, when it comes to human trafficking. So look at them hot states. Look at that. You got is that what's the one with the hook? Is that Connecticut? I think that's not Connecticut. Rhode Island. Yep, Rhode Island. Then you got West Virginia, Virginia, South Carolina, Ohio, Arizona, South Dakota, Wyoming, Colorado, Oregon, and Alaska. They're the worst ones. And then the orange states. But then but the thing is like the green ones means that 7 through 9 conditions are met, but they are also the worst states when it comes to human trafficking. So, and it says the dirty dozen. So as you can see, you got the dirty dozen right there. And those are the red states that I had read off. Crazy, man. It's crazy. All right. So then you have people are reported to be trafficked from 127 countries and exploited from 137 countries, impacting every continent and every type of economy. So that means it don't matter if you're rich, poor, nothing. It doesn't matter. And it says human trafficking can occur in any setting or sector, including illegal or illicit ones, and there is no limit to where it can take place. However, some regions of the world have higher rates of human trafficking than others, as measured by prevalence per 1,000 people. As you can see, the Arab states is 10.1, Europe and Central Asia is 6.9, Asia in the Pacific is 6.8, Africa is 5.2, and the Americas is 5%. All right, 5%. So low and lower middle income countries tend to have the highest rates of exploitation per capita, but more than half of all forced labor exploitation occurs in middle or high income countries. Some countries that are considered to be among the worst for human trafficking include Libya, Eritrea, Yemen, United Arab Emirates, and Turkmenistan. So in the US, the states with the most reported cases of human trafficking in 2019 were California, Texas, Florida, and New York. These states also had the highest populations in the country. As of 2016, the cities with the most cases of human trafficking were Houston, Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C. All right. So I want to pose this question to you guys. What do you think is the biggest human trafficking day of the year? I'm going to give you a little bit of time to figure it out. The biggest day, biggest trafficking day of the year is Super Bowl day. Like so many large sporting events, the Super Bowl with its raucous celebrations and yeah, I was right. Celebrations and crowds is notoriously susceptible to human trafficking. All right. Now, human trafficking can happen at any time, but some events and industries are more likely to be associated with it. Large sporting events, the crowds and celebrations of events like the Super Bowl can make them a target for sex traffickers. Industries, forced labor can be found in many industries, including agriculture, construction, fishing, manufacturing, and domestic work. Sex trafficking can also occur in industries like hospitality. And it can also happen within families, you know? Now, there are different types of human trafficking, all right? One is sexual exploitation, the most well-known form of human trafficking. Take this banner down real quickly. Pertains to different forms of sexual exploitation, including forcing an individual to engage in commercial intercourse acts such as prostitution or the production of pornography. All right. So very, very, keep that in mind. All right. Then you have forced labor. Forced labor occurs when individuals are compelled against their will to provide work or service through the use of force, fraud, or coercion. In 2016, it was estimated by ILO that 24.9 million people around the globe were in forced labor. All right. Traffickers do not discriminate when it comes to forced labor. Victims can be any age, race, religious affiliation, gender identity, nationality, or socioeconomic group. All right. Victims can be any age, race, religious affiliation, gender identity, nationality, or socioeconomic group. Certain risk factors do create a greater likelihood that an individual would be labor trafficked, such as an unstable immigration status, language barriers in each country, poverty, lack of social support, or suffering from trauma. Then you have the different labor industries: agricultural, domestic work, factories, nightclubs, and bars. All right. And that's key, hospitality. All right. Now, debt bondage. This is another form of human trafficking. So if somebody has a debt that they have to pay off, the individual gives themselves into slavery as security against a loan or when they inherit a debt from a relative. It will often look like an employment agreement, but one where the worker eventually finds repayment of the loan to be impossible, resulting in permanent enslavement. Migrant laborers are particularly vulnerable to this form of enslavement while searching for economic opportunity in a new country. All right. Domestic servitude. Involuntary domestic servitude occurs in private residences where domestic workers are not free to leave their employment and are often abused and underpaid if paid at all. I recall this episode of Law and Order SVU where it was Black kids that were being adopted, quote unquote, adopted by white people to be their servants, but they weren't really adopted. They were being sold to these people to be slaves. And these kids are being pulled away from their homes and everything like that, brought to the States. And then when they're brought to the States, it's a whole, it's crazy because back in the day, during slavery, when they had the Underground Railroad, there was people that were trying to get people to freedom. Now you have these people that are doing like an Underground Railroad type of thing, but they're pushing people into slavery. So it's actually the reverse. So it's people that cover up, have paperwork made, fake IDs made, all of these different things to cover their behinds, right? To say that these people are legit and the reason why they're working for them is legit, but they're really not. And then you also have these babies that are being plucked away from their mothers and fathers overseas, brought over here like a modern day African slave trade, and they're selling to the highest bidder. There was this lady that used to steal newborns. She didn't care who was the parents. She would steal these newborns, say that they had died in labor or whatever have you, had the parents distraught and like, oh my gosh, my baby passed away during labor. And she was taking these babies and selling them on the black market to rich people. I think Ric Flair was one of them. And I think he was one of the kids that was sold allegedly. And then allegedly they said that what's her name? The woman that was the inspiration for Mommy Dearest, they said that she purchased kids allegedly. All right. So yeah, so that's what it means when we're talking about domestic servitude, because these people are being plucked from their homes, they're being sold to these people. They don't receive basic benefits or protections such as time off and can be limited to movement solely within the residence. Labor officials have difficulty inspecting employment conditions in private homes, and these workers can face abuse, harassment, and exploitation. So if these people never leave the home and there's no, like, and these particular people, they're rich and they hardly have any people come over to their homes, or people that come over and they just don't care, they visit and they be like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, that's Mamie over there. You can get Mamie to do whatever you want her to do. And sometimes these dudes that are wackos, psychopaths, they be like, oh, I can get her to do whatever I want to do. So if I wanted her to do this, that's okay. And they're like, sure, whatever you want her to do, she'll do. So it's not just, wash my dishes, clean my home. It's also service whoever comes over to my house, because that's what they want. And we got to treat our guests the way we're supposed to treat our guests. All right. Then we got organ removal. So this is a hot topic. Not going to go too far into this, but there are times when people are human trafficked and they are cut open and their organs are removed, and the organs are sold on the black market. So while not as prevalent as the sex and labor trafficking, organ removal is a widespread and universally condemned violation. Many victims are unalived or left for dead once one or more organs have been removed. This black market thrives in the trade of bones, blood, and other body tissues, with as many as 7,000 kidneys illegally obtained by traffickers every year. The individuals involved with organ removal consist of four populations: desperate patients willing to travel great distances and face considerable insecurity to obtain transplants, equally desperate organ sellers, outlaw surgeons willing to break the law, and organ brokers and other intermediaries. Intermediaries. I think I'm talking too fast for myself. Like the young boy that was found in a gym mat, organs removed. Where did his organs go? I also started seeing an increase in kids missing, and people saying my daughter is missing, my son is missing. If you see my daughter, a lot of black kids, and they say that our DNA, black people, our organs, our blood, everything is like gold to them, right? So when I see kids just popping up missing one after another, we already have a big thing where children are getting unalived at alarming rates. But then to see them also just disappear, like, y'all don't find nothing suspicious about that. You don't find that suspicious. You don't find that suspicious. All these kids just popping up missing. And then I'm like, and then also I'll be kind of mad at the parents too, because it's like, how you don't know where your children are? There used to be PSAs on TV. It used to be like it's 5 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Like, how y'all just let y'all kids just roam around just by themselves? I'm sorry. Anywhere my son has to go, I'm going to drop him off and I'm going to pick him up. It's too many crazy people in the world nowadays, and there's too many reasons for our black children to get unalived and snatched up. So, and it's not just kids, but I'm starting to see that there is an alarming rate of children just missing, just don't know where they at. This person's missing, this person's missing, or them meeting up with these people that they meet online that have been grooming them, manipulating them. And it's like, where they just disappear off the face of the earth. I'm talking about hundreds of kids. Hundreds of kids. This is the rapture. Is it the rapture? I don't think it's the rapture. So we gotta be more on it, y'all. Y'all see something, say something. Y'all see something out of place. Y'all see, a girl or a boy near a van that got like tinted windows and stuff like that. Some grown people talking to them, and you're a grown person. Go and intervene. Hey, y'all need, because nothing scares them off faster than somebody calling attention to what's going on. Hey, y'all good over there? Y'all know them? Like, I get that a lot of people be like, it ain't none of my business. It's a lot of people like that. It ain't none of my business. And it seems like when people start intervening about certain things, they either get unalived themselves or they get cussed out and this and the third. I'm like this. I see two babies out there talking to some adults that I ain't never seen before around here, and they driving a big old van. It's suspicious. I'm going to say something. I'm not going to bite my tongue about it. You feel me? But it's a lot of people that be sitting there talking some, oh, well, I don't want to say anything because what if they know them and this and third. I would rather ask, take the chance and ask than to just idly sit by. There was a lady that she saw a guy kind of forcefully dragging a girl to the car. And so she was like, hey, is everything okay? It turned out that the guy was the girl's father and she did something she wasn't supposed to do. And that's why he was taking it to the car. But situational awareness, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about that too, all right? This might run over a little bit. It might run over a little bit. If you're watching on Instagram right now, I appreciate you. But if it runs over a little bit, like past 9:15, you might want to come over to YouTube because I think it's going to cut off after a certain time on Instagram. And I say it's going to run over a little bit because there's so much information in this episode. And I want to make sure y'all get all the information in this episode because I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be able to come back next week and revisit this information again because it's a lot. It's very, very heavy. It's wearing on my psyche right now. So I'm risking my mental health right now. So make sure y'all have this information because being a boy mom, I'm on pins and needles every day. My anxiety is through the roof. Is he okay? Is he okay at school? Is he okay? And I know when he's with his dad, he's safe. But still, anytime he's not in my immediate presence, where I can see him, touch him, my anxiety is through the roof. And I cannot imagine a lot of what these parents are going through right now that are missing kids. They're missing their children. They don't know where their children are. They just disappeared. Nobody knows where they at. And it's so bizarre to me because it's happening at alarming rates. I mean, it went from maybe once or twice a year to like 6 times a month. There's a kid missing. What really is going on? So, I think that was the Oregon and the debt bondage. Let's see. All right. So forced begging. Many people have likely encountered situations in public where small children are begging for money on the street. While not always evident, a great number of these children are coerced into their situation by traffickers through intimidation or threats. It is one of the most widespread forms of trafficking, as well as one of the most visible, with exploited children being out in plain sight as pedestrians walk by. Ain't that crazy? You just walking by, you see the kids, hey, would you like to buy some candy? Or, or please, like, I'm hungry and I need money, this and the third. And they're out there begging for money. And these kids could very well not be that person's children. It could be somebody else's children that got snatched up. Situational awareness, y'all. Situational awareness. Now, then we have child soldiers. All right. Something kind of like what they did in Wanted, the movie Wanted. It was other movies too, where they collect these kids and they put them. Now, I don't know, honestly, I don't know if this is done in the United States, but I know maybe in other countries they probably take these kids, and let's say the parents be like let's say parents are limited to like one child per household because that's the rules, you know. But then the woman and the man ends up producing another child, and they're like, well, we can only have one child, so then the other one is given to the state, given to the government, and the government could do whatever they want with them. And they decide, okay, we're going to train these kids to be assassins. It happens, you know. So that's where the child soldiers thing comes in. Forced marriage, I talked about it in another episode where I talked about arranged marriages, but I said forced marriages are bad because while marriage is the legal or formal recognition of the union of two consenting people in a personal relationship, forced marriage is when one individual or both does not consent. This force can happen as a result of threats, pressure, and coercion. It is labeled as human trafficking because it is considered involuntary servitude. All right. Now, before I go on any further, because those were the different types of human trafficking, I'm going to jump to the comments. So we have Rebe. She said, hey, I'm late. I'm here. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're just jumping in. We're just getting into the meat of everything. She says, loving the hair color, lady. Thank you so much. And she said, it's scary. Yes, human trafficking. The topic is very scary. And that's why I'm here to share this information with you guys. Before I go any further, I'm just going to take a quick pause for the cause because I need to refill my tank.
I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
All right. Who are the people who are trafficked? All right, we have women and girls account for 71% of human trafficking victims. 51% are women, 20% are girls, little girls. According to the UNODC, women and children are the most identified victims of human trafficking, with children making up almost a third of victims. The most common form of human trafficking is sexual exploitation, which primarily affects women and girls. The average age at which a young person becomes involved in sex trafficking is 12 years old. It can also be younger than that as well. Now, what ages are most affected by human trafficking? Children account for half of the victims of human trafficking. In fact, the average age that a young person becomes involved in sex trafficking is 12 years old. If the victim is a minor, no force, fraud, or coercion is necessary to provoke or to prove trafficking. Now, the most at-risk groups for human trafficking, there's a number of them. They have an unstable living situation or are unhoused. They have a history of domestic violence. They have a caregiver or family member who has a substance abuse issue, or they are involved in the juvenile justice or foster care system. Oh my goodness, foster care system. There was actually a woman that was busted for telling a young girl, you know, you need to just go out there and sell yourself for, you know, all this different stuff she was saying to this little girl. And I just found it odd that the mom, who has a number of children, decided to turn this one child over to social services and well, to the foster care system. And so it was just a very sad case. Another thing, they're undocumented immigrants, or they're facing poverty or economic need. They have a history of sexual abuse, or they have struggled with substance abuse. So these are the categories of people that, you know, are most at risk for human trafficking. Okay, you're in an unstable living situation. Let me manipulate you and show you that I can put a roof over your head, but you have to do these things for me. Oh, they have a history of the DV. Okay, they're living in a home where they're used to getting beat up and abused. So when I do it to you, you just see it as a normal way of living. And as long as I give you your basic necessities, you're going to continue doing what I want you to do, because you see it as, well, it can't get any worse than this. But you feel that way, not knowing that things could actually be better, but you see it as your only option at the time. A caregiver or a family member who has substance abuse issue, okay, they're on drugs. So in order to get the drugs, sometimes they have to do some really, really grimy, slimy things. And so what they turn around and do is they say, okay, well, I want to get this drug. The drug dealer told me it's about this amount of money, or they can, if I give them my daughter in exchange, like give them my daughter for one night, I can have this much drugs. Somebody who has a strong enough addiction will opt to sacrifice their child. Involved in the juvenile justice or foster care system. I already gave a brief example of that. But kids that are in the foster care system, they already are in a position where they're like, my mom don't have me, my dad don't have me, or they don't want me. And I'm in this system that I age out of at 18 years old. I'm not really given the proper tools to live out on my own and be a productive member of society. So the first thing that I'm going to turn to is the streets. And the sad thing about it is that once you age out at 18, it's like, if you have to ask if there's any programs that you could be part of and stuff like that, instead of them willingly giving you the information. And so what happens is that a lot of people, they don't even think to look for the information, because they're getting beat down so much by life and society. They're just like, oh, you know, I just want an easy way out. And when they turn 18, they hook up with somebody that is out in the streets, and they put them out in the streets, and that's how they end up being human trafficked. Undocumented immigrants, okay, they're already under the radar. People figure nobody's going to miss them. If I start selling them on the street and human trafficking them, nobody's going to know who they are anyway. They don't have any papers, so there's no way that anybody will be able to identify them. And if they don't do what I want them to do, or they start acting up, I can unalive them, and nobody will miss them. Facing poverty or economic need. Now, these are the people that's like, they're desperate for money. They pretty much are, you know, living out in the streets. They're like, listen, I need a better way of living. I need a better way of living. I want to make money. I want to be able to eat. I want to be able to have clothes. I want to be able to take a shower, bathe, all of these different things. And the person who is the human trafficker might have all of those things in place for this person. And so what they do is they take advantage of them to the point where they're like, okay, they manipulate them into believing that they are their savior. And so those people say, oh, well, you know, I'm down on my luck, and this is a way to get out of the rut. And so I'm gonna do whatever you need me to do so I can maintain some money in my pocket, some food in my belly, and some clothes in my bag. They have a history of sexual abuse. So someone who is actually abused. They're gonna sit up there and they're gonna be like, you know, I'm used to this. I'm used to this. So when this person starts, in essence, pimping them out, human trafficking them to be out in the streets and doing actual acts, what happens is that they don't they don't see it as any different than what they've already been exposed to. But hey, at least I get paid for it now. And have struggled with substance abuse. Just like the family member that has a substance abuse problem, if the person themselves has a substance abuse problem, their all of their everything is diminished. So they're not aware of certain things. And so what ends up happening is that it's easier for people to take advantage of them and human traffic them because they're under the influence and you know, and not necessarily substance abuse. There's also ways to do that where people don't have to necessarily be abusers of the substance, but if they are intoxicated or if they're drugged in any type of way, that also puts them in a position to be human trafficked. All right. So other groups, I think I already talked about the undocumented immigrants, runaways, and homeless youth. Oh my gosh, you know, kids running away from home and they're like, you know, I don't want to follow the rules of my parents and this, that, and the third. And they're really like, I'm done with this. And they leave. And then somebody says, hey, are you okay? Starts to befriend them. It could be a man or a woman. All right. Befriend them, take them to a place where they're like, they think that they're home, but they're not really home because what ends up happening is that that person is like a recruiter. All right. So they say, come back with me and you know, such and such will take care of you. It was this movie that Eve Plum was in. Eve Plum, y'all might know her better as Jan Brady from Off the Brady Bunch, the middle daughter. The one that was like, Marsha, right? Well, she was in a movie, and unfortunately, the title of it escapes me at this moment. But it was about this very situation where she was this young white girl on the streets, and this black lady befriended her and took her to her pimp. You know, it basically was like, and now she's in this house with all these other young ladies who are being prostituted, you know. Um, then you got financially vulnerable individuals. We already talked about that. Children in the child welfare and justice, juvenile justice systems. Unaccompanied foreign national children. Oh my gosh, this. Okay, wait a minute. It says these children do not have lawful immigration status. Okay, it's like undocumented immigrants, but it's just like kids that are here on a visa. You know, they also are at risk. Individuals seeking asylum, these individuals may also be vulnerable to trafficking. So people who are looking for refuge in a safe place to stay, people who are escaping a domestic violence situation, they might think that they're going to a friend's house that can help them out, and they end up going from a bad situation to a worse situation. It's a lot. It's a lot. All right, keeping it moving. Um, it says LGBTQ youth, especially those who have been in foster care, are at particular risk of trafficking because many of their families or communities have turned their backs on them because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. LGBTQ youth are disproportionately overrepresented, get it right, girl, overrepresented among minor sex trafficking victims. They make up 20 to 40% of victims compared to 5 to 7% of the general youth population, according to the Human Trafficking Hotline. All right. Now, what's this next one that I got? Oh, this is so the numbers. So I know some people out there that like, all right, you're telling me all this, but what's the actual numbers? Like, how bad can this situation really be? How bad can human trafficking really, really be? All right. So, human trafficking is a covert crime that is rarely reported, making it difficult or hard to report, making it difficult to research and get accurate numbers. However, here are some estimates of how often human trafficking occurs. Now, in the United States in 2021, mind you, this is 3 years ago, it has probably risen since then, but this was the report. 10,359 situations of human trafficking were reported in the US National Human Trafficking Hotline, involving 16,554 victims. However, other estimates for the number of women and children forced into sexual slavery in the US each year range from 15,000 to 50,000, or as high as 240,000 to 325,000. And California has consistently had the highest number of human trafficking cases in the US, with 1,334 cases reported in 2021. And then worldwide, there is 20.9 million people being trafficked worldwide, including 4.1 million for forced labor and 4.8 million for forced sexual exploitation. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the UNODC, says that almost 20% of all trafficking victims are children, but in some parts of Africa and the Mekong region, children may make up the majority of victims. Okay, so that's a high number, y'all. It's a high number. And it's really sad. It's really sad. Every year, human traffickers generate billions of dollars in profits by victimizing millions of people in the United States and around the world. Traffickers are estimated to exploit 40.3 million victims, with an estimated 25 million victims in forced labor and 15 million victims in forced marriage. How long do trafficking victims live? 7 years. So victims experience emotional and physical pain, including torture, disease, shame, starvation, grief, broken bones, burns, concussions, mutilations, infections, forced drug use, and because they got to keep them stupid. They got to keep them doped up to do the things that they have them do, and permanent organ damage. The average life expectancy of human trafficking victims is 7 years. All right. What percentage of human trafficking victims are rescued? Only 1 out of 100 people are rescued. Only 1 out of 100 people are rescued from human trafficking. And this was reported in 2016. So I can estimate that it's still probably the same amount of people being rescued, because they're getting a little bit more savvy with it. They're getting a little bit more crafty with it. It's starting to be that they're resorting to some really drastic measures to get the victims that they want. All right. What happens to victims after human trafficking? It can cause a lot of basic human rights, loss of basic human rights, loss of one's childhood, disruption in families, and severe mental health consequences, including anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and substance abuse. All right. Now, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause because I want to show y'all a video. Now, people are like, this is interesting. Like, what do these human traffickers look like? Are they scary men with masks on? Do they have little mustaches and like do they look like the boogeyman? Do they look like Freddy Krueger? Do they look like Chucky? Because what's crazy? We have all these scary movies, right? We have all these scary movies where we're shown what a boogeyman could possibly look like, right? But to many of these people who are human trafficked, the boogeyman could very much look like the person next door. Wow. So as you can see, all of those people who were shown in that video were convicted or arrested for human trafficking. I don't know if y'all remember or recall a sting that had happened a while back where there was a number of people who were in prominent positions like lawyers and doctors and police officers that were caught up in this whole trafficking ring. It is a dirty business, but it's also a very big business. It is a way for a lot of these people to make money at the risk and the safety of others. So human traffickers are people who exploit others for profit and can be anyone, individuals, business owners, gang members, family members of victims, intimate partners, farm or restaurant owners, corporate executives, government representatives, labor brokers, and diplomats. Okay. Traffickers can be pimps, gang members, diplomats, business owners, labor brokers, and farm, factory, and company owners. Who is most likely to be human traffickers? Who are the traffickers? There is no evidence that traffickers are more likely to be of a particular race, nationality, gender, or sexual exploitation. Sexual exploitation. I've been saying that so much in this program. Sexual orientation. They may be family members, romantic partners, acquaintances, or strangers. All right. So how does this happen? How do people end up being human trafficked? Now, we already talked about the groups of people who are susceptible, I said it right, to being trafficked, right? But there are people who are not in any of those groups that are being human trafficked, that are being caught, all right, in a web. And there are many ways that these people go about catching these people. Like I'm telling you, if they use half of the knowledge that they use to come up with all these schemes to how to capture people and put it into something good, oh my gosh. But what they choose to do instead is to use all of their wit for bad. And I have a few videos that I want to show you how they do this stuff. There are different ways that they go about getting their victims. All right. And then I'm going to come back to y'all. So here we go.
If you see this, run. If you see money in your windshield, you need to run away fast. They're trying to get you to get out of your car and grab the money. If you see this, you need to get in your car some other way. This is a sign that this is probably laced with something. People's hands have gone numb. They have passed out. It is a trick. Do not touch this. If you see this, they have labeled this. This is what they're labeling. They're saying this is a woman who is alone, that someone has been watching you. They see you're alone. They think you're vulnerable. You need to go home and you need to cut this off. This is meant to pause you so that someone from underneath the car can cut your Achilles heel, and so that you're distracted. It gives them enough time to get to you. See, this one looks the most innocent, but you're gonna notice this one. It's gonna be placed here after you're already in your car. Their goal is to get you out of your car. You just wanna check your surroundings, okay? Because there's so many different ways for people to get you. They don't wanna get out of your car and be texting. You don't wanna go to your car and be texting. You need to be, as women, you need to be aware of your surroundings.
And I heard a knock on the door that sounded like maintenance, so I jumped out of bed and opened it really fast. Bad idea. A woman standing there goes, "Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm with some company that's like car canvassing, and she needed to get people to help her win points to win a truck." Although I was just woken from my slumber, I was already hyper aware of the situation, and when she asked me to shake her hand, I told her, "No, my hand's dirty." She then pulls out a notebook paper from her purse, and it's laminated, and it has one big wine glass on the front with nail polish, nail clippers, and a nail file in it. And on the back, there were 9 pictures of the same thing, but with different color nail polishes within the wine glasses. And when I tell you this paper was like somebody took a picture of this setup with their iPhone and then printed it out on a piece of printer paper. Like, it was just the creepiest thing. No text, no ads, nothing. We're still in the doorway at this point, so she asked me to pick out 2 colors, and I said, okay, like, I like these 2, and then she gestures inside. She's like, "Would you mind if I, like, came inside and used your countertop or your kitchen table to write this down?" And I go, "You want to come in my house? I don't feel comfortable with you doing that." So then she gestures me outside. She's like, "Why don't you come outside and take a seat on a step here with me then?" And I'm hesitant, obviously, being blatant about it, because I left my phone in my room because I thought I was just going out to let maintenance in. So we sit down. She, like, pats the ground again for me to sit down on the porch next to her, which I stood up. I did not sit down. And then she started making small talk, like, "Are you in college? Are you a sophomore?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in college. You're at a damn apartment complex at a college." And no, I'm a senior. And then she's like, "Oh, so, like, do a lot of people live in your house? Like, 4 to 6 people at these, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have a couple roommates." Weird, right? So she pulls out this notepad orders thing that a waitress would use and starts to write down the 2 colors I said I liked. And then she said, "What was your first name again?" Because I had told her at the door. So I couldn't change my name at that point, so I spelled my first name back to her wrong. And then when she asked for my last name, it was like, that was when I called it quits. I said, "Why do you need my last name? Like, are you trying to take my money or something?" And she goes, "Oh my God, no, never. I would never do that. I just need, like, all this information to get you the order." Which, like, how does that make sense if you're not taking my money? What? I said, "I'm not giving you any more information than that. You can go." And then she started to skip away, and she was being followed by that red car that you can see in the first video, which I didn't realize till later. Trafficking vibes. Stay safe.
This video is extremely important. I'm going to ask all of you to share it. Here's why. This picture is going viral. Listen to what a concerned parent had to say about this picture. The mother said, "Today my daughter got off the bus at Eagle Creek subdivision. She was waiting by the pool when these 2 men showed up in their van. They stepped out and asked my daughter if they could help her load something in the van. She said no and then walked away." Then the mother said, "Why would these 2 men approach my 16-year-old daughter and ask for her help? I can't imagine what would have happened if she walked closer to that van." The mother said, "I'm choosing to post this picture because it shows what these men look like and as a picture of their license plate." She said, "If I'm wrong, I'll publicly apologize." But to be honest, why would 2 grown men ask for a 16-year-old girl to help them load anything in their van?
Y'all see this, right? No.
No, la herramienta, me reportaron el cuarto cerrado.
Get away from my door.
Sorry.
Bro, what? See, there's a reason why they tell you to lock your doors.
I just came to Walmart and I pulled up and this car is parked here and the door is open. Nobody is in the car. The door is open. That's crazy. I'm gonna take this video inside of Walmart so they can see no keys ain't in it. I don't know if they broke down or what. No, a lady was looking at you. That lady right now. Sir, y'all see this door open in this car? I'm sorry, what did you say? Somebody left their door open. Y'all can call security? Okay, I'll go up front. Let the manager know. Okay.
She was like, yeah, and then a lot of the times it's because people do not know about God the Mother.
So go back and watch that young lady's video, because what she said, you need to hear that portion as well. But I want to warn especially women about this rule. So if you're ever in the grocery store, you're ever at Walmart, you're ever at Target, and a couple, and normally they work in teams of 2. If you're ever in the store and someone comes up to you and they're trying to invite you to a Bible study group and they mention Mother God at any point in time, if you are by yourself, please hear me clearly. If you are by yourself as a female, please make sure that you go and have someone escort you to your vehicle. This ruse has been utilized multiple times, and you can actually look this up. If you do not believe me, this ruse has been utilized multiple times for human trafficking. Please be observant. If anyone comes up to you with this conversation, make sure you're watching your surroundings and you're not just idly going about your way and about your day, because you could be in danger. I work for the military and we study human trafficking all the time. And listen to me clearly. This is utilized for human trafficking. Please be careful. Have someone escort you to your car. Call somebody to meet you at the store, wherever you are. Just make sure you make it home safely.
Peace, you guys. So many of you wanted the footage of the underground tunnels, and here you go. Be sure you guys pay attention, stay safe, watch your surroundings. You never know if you are someone's target. All right. Peace.
Cameras can be disguised as everyday objects, and they can be scattered around your house or Airbnb, and you wouldn't know about it.
3-star motel. This what really freaked me out up here by the front door.
This is the third morning in a row I found one of these on her car in the exact same spot, back passenger door. I didn't know what it was. I just kept cutting it off. This morning when I found it, I went in there and I asked her, I said, what's the deal with the zip tie being on your back passenger handle every morning? For the past 3 mornings, I've cut it off. She said, Dad, I don't know what in the world you're talking about. She said, I didn't know there was a zip tie on there. I said, yeah, there's a zip tie. So I was talking to my brother just a few minutes ago, and I told him, I said, man, 3 mornings in a row, I found a zip tie on I ain't gonna say her name, but my daughter's back passenger door handle. Black zip tie. It's loose, but it's on there. And he works in law enforcement. He's been in law enforcement his whole life. And you could tell when I mentioned that, he got extremely silent. And he said, what'd you just say? And I told him, and he was like, listen, man, cut that off right now. I said, I have been cutting them off. He was like, sex traffickers and people that basically steal women, vulnerable women, put them on a car somewhere where it's not easily noticeable for them, but other people who actually do the stealing knows exactly what that means. So basically what this is, you all, is this is a tag. And this alerts anyone who's part of the organization, I'll call it, of sex trafficking or kidnappers, abductors. Let them know that that person is vulnerable, they are by themselves, and they're an easy target. So if you've got teenage kids, girls that are out late at night, that are driving, check their car every morning. Look for a black zip tie or anything that stands out and immediately remove it.
All right. Wait a minute. I didn't want to jump into this just yet. I wanted to jump into the comments that I've seen. No worries, guys. We are almost done with this episode of Think Different TV. Listen, there was another video that I didn't even realize I didn't add until now, but it was a video of a young lady who went into a Walgreens and she parked. So it was a car parked, and then it was like space, and then she parked into this spot, and it was like a whole bunch of spaces, and then there was another car parked. Okay, so she went into Walgreens to go grab something, and when she came to the door, she noticed that it was a big van parked right in between her car and the other car at this end. All right. And she said, I don't even know how they even got into that spot because it was a really, really tight spot. And it just so happened that the sliding door to this van was positioned next to her driver's side door. All right. So, if you're just out and about running some errands and everything like that, if somebody is parked next to you, you'd be a little annoyed because you had all this space. But she actually took it a step further in her mind and said, this doesn't seem kosher. You feel me? Like something's off about this van being parked by my car. Cause yeah, he had so many other parking spots that he could have parked that he decided to tightly squeeze between this car and my car. And the sliding door is next to my driver's side door. So let's say she wasn't situational awareness, okay? Situational awareness. If she didn't have that presence of mind and she just walked to her car with her groceries in her hand, fumbling for her keys, trying to open up her door, somebody could have opened those sliding doors to the van, grabbed her, took her, and drove off. And they are trained to make a quick getaway. So it's like grab and go. You feel me? So she had the presence of mind to be like, something not right about this. Let me go grab somebody in the store to walk me out to my car. So there was an employee that was gracious enough to walk her to her car. And as soon as she got to her car, as soon as she gets to the car, then the employee was like, they went over there, was like, hey, did you need help with anything, to the person in the van? The van pulls out and takes off. So this person obviously had bad intentions. And luckily, the young lady had the presence of mind and the situational awareness to know, I'm not going to be caught out there. I'm going to know that this is a strange situation and call attention to it. And she got it on tape. And I wish I had added that video in too. But that's another way that they snatch people. So just beware, women and men, okay? Because it's not just women. A large percentage of people who are trafficked are women and children, but men are trafficked as well. So just to let you know, if it's late at night, but this was like in the daytime too, so they getting mad bold. They're getting so bold. But if it's late at night, somebody's parked up on your car all weird. I know we be wanting to rush home. I know that when we get off from work, the first thing we think in our head is that gotta get home, gotta get home. I'm so tired, I want to get in my bed, but you want to make it home. That is the key. So if something looks off and weird to you, don't let the situational awareness fly out the door because you're tired. Be ever vigilant. In fact, when I'm tired, I'm even more vigilant than I usually am. Because I'm like, I'm sleepy, so I have to be more on alert, especially if I'm out and about. A young lady walking down the street late at night. Now, listen, I used to be one of them. I used to get out of Just Words. It'd be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Get on the bus, on the C bus. And people that live in Philly know ain't no C bus no more, right? It's either the 16 or the 4. But for the sake of argument, let's just say that this was the C bus that would go up and down Broad Street and stop at City Hall. And this particular bus would take me to my home. And the crazy thing is that even when I got off the C bus, I would still have to walk to my home. And it's crazy now to think about it, how I was so, I don't want to say naive, but I felt a little bit safer back then. Like nothing was going to happen to me. Plus, the Walgreens was open 24 hours at the time. So it was always light coming from that particular area. So I'm like, okay, cool. But then once you get to another area, so I don't want to give too much away, there was some dark spots. But I never felt unsafe. Okay. Say it was the angels watching over me and everything. That now I may not have felt unsafe, but I always was aware of what was around me. So feeling scared and feeling unsafe is different from having situational awareness, because you can still have some scaredness, if you want to call it that. You can still have that, but having situational awareness is just being aware of everything around you. I'm always constantly looking around, make sure nobody's following me on foot or in a car. And it just so happened that the particular area that, I lived at the time, there was a lot of ladies of the night, and some of them weren't even ladies, but like even more of them are not ladies right now, but they will be walking the streets. And so it will be men just pulling up, hey, trying to such. It was people that was looking for a good time. And it was annoying, but I never felt scared. Okay. But having that little tinge of alertness always made me like aware of what was around me. And that's the thing. There's a lot of people walking around here without situational awareness. And I don't understand how you do it, baby. How are you walking in the street with your headphones on, with your head in your phone, not paying attention to what's around you? And that's not just for the human trafficking thing, but just like you're walking across the street with your head in your phone, you're not paying attention to the traffic that's coming down the street. Even if you have the light, still pick your head up and see where you're going. There's a lot of people that don't do that. They don't have situational awareness. They don't think that anything is going on around them. They're just so oblivious to everything around them. And I don't understand how you could do that. And it is more so this generation. They don't never know who's who. They never know what's going on. You never know who was shooting or who was doing that, because they just not paying attention to their surroundings. Somebody like me, I go to a cookout, I see somebody show up in a full, with a pooh shiesty mask and everything like that. I'm like, just like on Color Purple. Time to go. We out. And I'm gonna call attention to the person, to somebody who is of authority. Hey, police officer, you see that? You know what I'm saying? Now he could be there just to get a plate and enjoy the festivities. But dude, it's like 100 degrees out here. What are you doing with a pooh shiesty mask on and a bulletproof vest? That don't seem suspicious? That don't seem suspicious to y'all? So yeah, situational awareness is a big thing. That's the SA that I want people to get acquainted with. There's another SA that I don't want anybody to have anything to do with. But situational awareness you must have in everything, because it's one thing when people use trickery to try to get you to get in their cars and all this different stuff. But baby, having situational awareness is most of the battle. Like, you can spot when somebody, like one lady, she was sitting up in the club with her friend. This dude was dancing. He bumped into her on purpose. Boom, dropped something in her drink. But baby, that lady was like, I saw what you did. I saw what you did. Because yeah, I'm dancing, having a good time, but I'm also keeping an eye on my drink, because I paid for it, one. And two, you just bumped into me. Like, and he was so obvious, y'all. But there's some people that aren't as obvious. But you never want to leave your drink just laying around. This is just you know, standard, you're out by yourself or you're out with your friends, you never want to have, if your drink been left on the bar and you went away from it, it's a dead drink. Don't even think about drinking no more. You want a whole new drink. There was a bartender that was spiking young ladies' drinks in Texas, I believe. Might have to check on it. But yeah, it was spiking their drinks. And they was like, we knew he was a little off because he was taking shots with us. And we was like, what kind of bartender takes shots with their patrons? Like, that's kind of weird, because wouldn't that be like drinking on the job, you know? But they was hitting shots with them, and something was in it, and they was like, they felt dizzy, they felt disoriented, all this different stuff. So, and then this is also when you travel to foreign countries. I know it's people that love to travel, man. Every time you turn around, they love traveling. You know, women love traveling, man. You can't stop a woman from traveling, right? But you also gotta be safe and have situational awareness when you go to these bars, when you're hanging out with your girls at these clubs. You know, people turn up missing every day, be right here in the United States. You go off to Aruba, to the Dominican Republic, to Jamaica, overseas to like the Netherlands, and you know, whatever. Staying in hostels. Gotta be careful. Yeah. So, how to spot a human trafficking victim. Sadly, it is easier to identify victims of traffickers than traffickers themselves, as the victims share certain common characteristics and work settings that may be visible to a perceptive observer. Here are just a few red flags. Victim lives with employer. Victim lives with multiple people in cramped conditions, transported together between home and work by someone. Also, you know, they are not allowed to speak to others alone. Their answers seem scripted and rehearsed. The employer is holding the victim's passport and IDs. The victim shows signs of physical abuse. They have submissive and fearful facial expressions. The victim is clearly underpaid or unpaid, and the victim is a minor engaging in prostitution. Okay. They're appearing malnourished. They're showing signs of physical injuries and abuse. They're avoiding eye contact, social interaction, and authority figures, law enforcement, seeming to adhere to scripted or rehearsed responses in social interaction, lacking official identification documents, appearing destitute, lacking personal possessions, working excessively long hours, living at place of employment, checking into hotels or motels with older males and referring to those males as boyfriend or daddy, which is often street slang for pimp, poor physical and or dental health, tattoos, branding on the neck and or lower back, untreated sexually transmitted diseases, small children serving in family restaurants. Now, not all of these are true, because you know sometimes traffickers and also invest in their product too. So, you know, you might see a woman that has really nice teeth and she looks really nice and kept together, you know, but they are, you know, so these are obvious signs, but sometimes signs aren't always there, because there are traffickers that, you know, even though they abuse the heck out of the person and they might, you know, do some really crazy stuff, that they still invest in stuff like their teeth and their body, their appearance and everything like that. But I also want to say, if they appear like they're showing like they're always drugged up. I think that's the next one. Well, yeah, if they're always drugged up, or they seem a little loopy all the time, like they're there but they're not there, like they're present but not present, and they always seem doped up, that could also be a a sign that they are being trafficked as well. Security measures that appear to keep people inside an establishment, barbed wire inside of a fence, bars covering the insides of the windows, not allowing people to go into public alone or speak for themselves. And these warning signs are adapted from information provided by the Polaris Project and its National Human Trafficking Research Center and Innocence at Risk. All right. Now, I think I did this kind of out of order, but what I'm going to do is take a quick look at the comments, which we have a lot of. All right. Rebe is my top commenter for tonight. She said, the daily devotionals I read and listen to in the morning, the speaker, a man of the cloth, speaks so passionately about this. He says this is the most talked about issues in the church. He is in the UK. Trafficking of all forms. Mike around the town, he is a producer, a music producer. He's also the CEO of Dostak Records. He says hello all. He's also going to be in the episode of Think Different TV's Player Pass, so look out for that. So hello, Mike. Thank you for joining in to Think Different TV. She said, and yes, a group that I am a parent partner with speaks about the aging out of the foster system, and this is how they operate, looking for youth with no family, lonely. They prey on these demographics. This is a big issue about the trafficking that judges do with children in the foster care system. This was a Law and Order SVU episode, and what went down at Glen Mills, oh, it's deep. The movie Dawn, Portrait of a Teenage Runaway, 1976. Yes, that is the movie with Eve Plum in it. And she said this came out 1976. I was still in the womb, and this was going on. I was born in 77. This is crazy. This was 48 years ago. And she said, oh, snap, California, yes, because of the close proximity to Mexico, the border. She said 7 years deep. So that's 7 years. When I talked about that, it's 7 years that people actually live in this human trafficking ring. That's the life expectancy for someone who is human trafficked. She said the boogeyman is your neighbor, family member. It's no stranger. It's the people you know and least expect. The man that had the girls locked up in Ohio, the 2 men that were caught locally, absolutely. They had 4 women in a shipping container, and the youngest was 17. This was not even a month ago. An African-American man and Hispanic man. This was in the county. Politicians, presidents, look at this, at the young lady's name that was on the e-flight log. She named Orange and a whole slew of politicians, and she was 13. And Orange and crew leaked her name to the media. Very bad. Trust your gut. Your heart and your head will confuse you. Bold, bold, bold. She said, always do a sweep of your surroundings. They are always on the phone. Don't look up. Headphones blasting. It's crazy. And that's what I'm talking about. Situational awareness for a lot of these kids today is like, they don't have it. They don't have it. They'll walk right out in the street. No situational awareness. You know, they'll say, oh, I didn't know that that person was coming up behind me. How do you not know? If you're obviously not paying attention. And this is in no way victim blaming. I'm not victim blaming, victim shaming. I'm just saying, if you want to avoid becoming a victim, if you want to prevent that from happening, have situational awareness, make sure that you are aware of everything around you at all times. It's not a matter of you should, it is not me saying, oh, it would be nice if you did this. No, you should be doing this. You should be doing this. It has to be done. Stop letting people, you know, walk up to you on the side of you. This one lady, she was into her music and everything like that. And this is not human trafficking related, but this is like situational awareness related. She was on a train platform. It was this man walking down. He was hitting women and all this stuff, like actually hitting them. And this one woman, she was grooving with her headphones on, was not paying attention, and the dude just walked up and just slugged the crap out of her, knocked her to the ground, like knocked her out. And she didn't even know that it was coming because she didn't have situational awareness. And this is on a platform in New York City. Now, I don't know about y'all, and I'm not saying New York is the most dangerous city in the world. There are cities that are just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than New York City. I live in Philly, so, but I never have my headphones like this. I might have one in my ear, and I have one ear that's open so I can hear what's going on around me. And I'm sure she would have heard, if she didn't have her headphones on, these women screaming like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Da-da-da-da. Then it would have called her attention to it, and then she would have like been like, "Oh snap, let me get away from this person because this person's crazy." She would at least had a step away from him. Even if he went to go try to hit her, she would have been able to duck, or she would have been able to maneuver. Again, this is not victim blaming, victim shaming. This is just saying that we need to have more situational awareness. She said, "C bus, you took it back." She said, "Yes, I know the area, the back parking lot, walking through that Walgreens to cut through was like, woo, the whole stroll. Child, yes, I was approached many a day walking past there." And she said, "Heck no, yes, all the time, no situational awareness at all. This young lady walked right into traffic, into my friend's car in a shiesty mask. Heck no. It makes your drink taste salty. That's a big giveaway. Oh, so if somebody puts something in your drink, it tastes salty." She said, "That's a big giveaway. A man I follow on social media that posts tips about situations like this," she said, "they all from me." And she said, "Not at all. Pay attention to your surroundings at all times. The personal space rules applies to me." Oh, that's me too. Do not listen. If you closer than arm's length away from me, you too close. You too close. You too close, man. You too close. The personal space rules applies to me. If you invade my personal space, it's a sure sign that you are too close. And she said, "Yes, I was commenting on all the posts." See, I can read all the comments. I'm good at this. Ooh, I'm good at this. All right. So back into it. But before we go into it, we're coming up on a 2-hour mark. I do not mean to keep y'all this late, but I do want to go over this last piece of information, and then I'm going to stop. All right, but I need to take a quick pause for the call.
Go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
All right. These are different ways that people do it. I'm going to go through it really quickly. You have the play at parties. In this method, a note is okay. First, I got this information from a website that people from Nigeria post on. So this is information from overseas, but this is still information that can be used in the States as well, because these are different ways that people can be captured and taken into human trafficking. All right. In this method, a note is dubiously passed to the master of ceremonies requesting the owner of an identified vehicle to come out and move his or her vehicle to allow others parking access. Immediately, the individual gets to his or her car. The kidnappers grab the person and zoom off in the car. All right, so that's one way. You have roadblocks. Oh, the modus operandi of kidnappers includes mounting roadblocks on highways in military uniforms and staging a surprise attack on unsuspecting motorists. And this is not just roadblocks, but they are starting to actually put strips down with nails in them to pop tires. And then when people's tires go out, they ambush them. All right, because the first thing that the person is going to do is be like, "Oh snap, my tire is flat, let me get out and change my tire." But before they can even get out of the car to do all that, well, these people hop out, and guess what? The person has nowhere to go because their tire is flat. So all around bad situation. Disguising as church members, the young lady talked about that briefly in the video. There have been several reports of how kidnappers found their way into churches disguised as church members and waited for the service to end before carrying out their criminal act. Isolated ATMs. Oh my goodness. According to a security expert, Mr. Pedro Ayandoncan, I hope I said that right. Kidnappers now target isolated automated teller machines with long queues of customers. Okay. So beware of those isolated ATMs that's just like in the middle of nowhere. Do not go to those. Okay. I don't even like going to the bank ATMs that's open at night. Like, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Like, if you can't get your money in the daytime, just don't do it. I know some people like to go out and party and stuff like that, and they like, you know what, let me stop at the bank real quick, this, then the third. But those ATMs are targets, not just for people to snatch you up and put you into human trafficking, but also, you know, um, just to rob you. So never use an isolated ATM. All right. Fake job interviews. Text messages for job interviews are randomly sent to the mobile phones of persons who did not apply for the job. The agenda is to get desperate job seekers to an arranged venue and hold them before contacting their relatives to pay ransom. So this is if somebody's being kidnapped, but also, you know, this could be used as well for the purpose of human trafficking. All right. Using neighbors as bait. Security agencies have constantly warned Nigerians against opening their doors for neighbors at odd hours. It has been observed that kidnappers, rather than heading for the house of their potential victim directly, use the person's neighbor to knock on the door or gate of their potential victim. Their belief is that their target will open the door for their neighbor. Luring children with gifts. 2 months ago, Bayo Adeyemi, a male pupil of a school in Michael area of Lagos State, was kidnapped on his way home after closing hours. Okay, Bayo and his brother were on their way home when the kidnappers, who were in a bus, accosted them on the road, gave the elder brother this is the money, N100, to buy candy and biscuits. The victim offered to run the errand with his younger brother, but they ordered them to get in a car. And yeah. Switching off generators. So this is something that's overseas, but just think about it. Like, if you live in, like, if somebody lives in a trailer park or something like that, or they live somewhere where people have access to their electricity from the outside of their house, these people, they get crafty. They can just go up, cut off the electricity, and then you're like, oh snap, what happened to my electricity? So the first thing you do is what you do. You go check the breaker. What's going on with the breaker? This and third. You go outside and they snatch you up. All right. So when kidnappers identify a house that is easily penetrable, especially at night, they locate where the electricity switch box is and disconnect the power source. They wait for any of the occupants to come out to check what might have happened. In the process, he or she is kidnapped. They may also switch off generator to lure their target. Pretending as relatives, so pretending to be relatives. The 90-year-old father of someone who owns a hotel fell victim to this technique. He was kidnapped from his house. Who is a relative of the victim, said the kidnappers came into the premises of the aged man around 8 p.m. They said the man entered the house under the pretense that the victim's son sent him to the old man. He later drove him away in a car. All right. And then you have lifts. All right. As much as many would want to offer help to persons in need, giving strangers a lift could be a wrong move. There was a report last year of one of Mrs. Abike Lowell, who visited a popular shopping mall in Lagos. as she was about to leave, she noticed that one of her tires had been slashed. Okay. So you got to be very, very aware, you know, who you offer help to, because somebody could be out there like standing next to a car and saying their car is not running or whatever like that. And, you know, somebody who's a good Samaritan, has a good heart, and doesn't want to see somebody, you know, out there on the side of the road. Like me, late at night, if I was driving and somebody was on the side of the road and their car was broke down, I would take notice of the marker where that person's at, and I would call the police and I would say, hey, there's somebody broke down on the side of the road. At this location, but I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't stop. And it's sad that it has come to this where we can't even be good Samaritans and help somebody in need because there's somebody lurking in the shadows waiting to kidnap us or do something crazy to us. And we should always err on the side of caution. Like, we want to be helpful to people. And I know it's going to hurt a lot of those people's hearts. They'd be like, I would give the shirt off my back. But the thing is that you want to still be breathing and living to do so. So, you know, don't be like, oh, well, I want to help people so badly, I'm putting my life at risk. No. Listen, you can help people in a lot of ways without putting your health at risk and your life at risk. All right. So, what is needed to abolish human trafficking? Awareness. Educational campaigns to spread information through pamphlets, speeches, films, presentations, forums, word of mouth, and online. I am doing my part right here on Think Different TV to make sure that I spread awareness about human trafficking, because it is something that needs to be talked about. And hopefully someone will see this episode and they will, and later on, something will happen and they will think back to this episode and say, you know what? Lashia said something about this on Think Different TV. This seems out of whack. Oh, no. You get what I'm saying? So I'm hoping I'm doing my part to spread awareness. Number 2 is action, service projects, and fundraising events to engage the local community. So this is getting stuff together where we're actually out and about, handing pamphlets to people, letting them know what's going on, showing situations of situational awareness, situations where these things can happen, and be more alert. Social media is a form of action to me and awareness, because, you know, what they do when they have these social media videos and everything like that, and they're showing people like this is what's happening, and you know, it's, I don't know, I think this is their way of also taking action in this cause. And aid, fundraising and donation efforts to support international charities and organizations working towards the eradication of modern day slavery. So if you know of a organization that is working hard to get rid of human trafficking or prevent it from happening, or they want to do their part and you want to donate to that, that is how you can do it. You can provide aid to these causes. All right. What are the 3 P's of human trafficking? Prosecution, protection, and prevention. So prevention is number 1 to me, because, you know, you want to help people prevent the chances of them even being human trafficked. You also want to protect the people you love, and also people you don't know that need this protection, because there's people out there that are in the foster care system that you don't know that are about to age out. You want them to have the protection away from these human trafficking people and not get caught up. And prosecution, legislation has to be passed so that these people who are caught doing this are prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law. They're put away for life, and they're not eligible for parole. They're not able to be amongst anyone anymore, amongst the public. They should be locked up put away, you know, and never see the light of day ever again. All right. Trust your judgment. Number one, let a trusted friend or relative know if you feel like you are in danger or if a person or situation is suspicious. If possible, set up safety words with a trusted friend or relative. Also, keep all important documents and identification in your possession at all times. Here are some precautions you can take to prevent from becoming a victim of human trafficking. Be careful online. Don't overshare personal information. I did a episode not too long ago about, you know, Sharrington and sharing personal information about your kids online. This is pertaining to you too. Don't overshare personal information about yourself as well. Set strict privacy settings and be wary of strange friend requests. Don't trust friendly strangers on social media who know too much about you. All right. It was this commercial where this guy walks up to this lady and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, such and such?" And she knows him, but then he's like saying all this stuff like, "Oh, you know, I know that trip to such and such was really cool. And oh my gosh, you know, is that such and such?" Talk about the little girl. "Oh my gosh, she's grown up to be a, you know, great," like he knew too much. You know, he was following her too much online. Like he was knowing too much about her personal information and it made her feel uncomfortable. So be careful about what you share online. Also, be aware of your surroundings. Again, situational awareness. In public, don't look like easy prey. Anytime I travel somewhere, I know where I'm going. I have my target in mind and I never want to look lost. That's why we have a great thing called Google Maps. Back then we used to have MapQuest, all right? It was a little harder to navigate, but now we got Google Maps. If you know where you are going and you know where you are, you know, quickly put it into your Google Maps before you even, when you're in a safe spot, map out where you're going. You know, that way you can easily get to that destination without looking lost. Look like you belong. Look like you know where you're going. It's so many people who talk about something, "Oh, I don't know where I am. What am I on 4th Street? Or am I on 14th Street?" And some people in Philly might give that a little chuckle because 14th Street is Broad Street. If you ain't from Philly, you ain't gonna know where 14th Street is. So that's a little chuckle for y'all out there in Philly. But you know, people that just are not aware where they are and where they gotta be at, and they looking all lost, that is easy prey. Anytime I went to New York, I always made sure I knew where I was going, how to get there, what trains I had to catch. I wanted to look like I was a New Yorker, okay? I did not want to look like I was a tourist. The only time I looked like I was a freaking tourist was when I had all my bags and I was going back to the bus station so I could catch the bus to go back home. But or if I was arriving there. But now that we have Uber and we have Lyft, but that was another thing. When they said Lyft on the thing, that also brought up Uber and Lyft. So also be very careful about taxis that you get into, Lyfts that you get into, Ubers you get into. You know, if the Uber drivers start talking a little weird or whatever, like just make an exit, cancel your ride, say thank you so much. This is where I need to be. If you're walking down the street and you feel like somebody is walking up close to you and you're on a strip where they have like houses, just walk up some steps. Walk up. So I know it sounds weird because you might be just walking right into the belly of the beast. But it's sometimes it's just like you just kind of have a feeling. Always go with your gut, go with your instinct. Sometimes you just know that this is a good house to go to, and you want to ring the doorbell. Just make sure, like, you're like, "Hey, I see such and such," and I think all of us should practice this. I think we all should practice something like this where we have like code words where and I'm not going to say them on this live because this is something that has to be developed among, you know, you and your close friend. Like, I think one of the things was develop code words, but make sure you develop a code word so that when you walk up to somebody's door and you say something like, hey, it's kind of hot outside, ain't it? They know, like, something's off. And they're like, heck yeah, it's hot. You need to get in here. So then, you know, like, just that exchange. Now this person that been following you, they're like, oh snap, they know that person. That, you know, abort mission. You get what I'm saying? So just an example, not an actual you know, code word, but just an example of one. Let me see. Traffickers often target people they perceive as vulnerable. Then it's keep important documents safe. Keep your identification and important documents with you at all times. Now, listen. Don't have your social security card on you. ID is fine, but don't have your social security card on you. Okay? There's people that carry around everything. Don't have that on you. Because that's the easy way for somebody to steal your stuff and steal your identity. Don't do that. Don't give your partner or employer access to your documents without your permission. Have a plan. Make sure you have a way to communicate, access to your bank account, and any medication you might need. Also, keep important numbers with you, including someone you feel safe contacting if you're in trouble. So I know a lot of us got used to, you know, our phones being the keeper of all the numbers, and we done blanked on a lot of numbers. But I know my mom's number by heart. I know my dad's number by heart. I know my grandma's number by heart. I know my brother's number by heart. I know my sister's number by heart. I know my uncle's number by heart. I know my son's father's number by heart. Try to keep certain numbers in the tuck of your brain. Don't allow your phone to be the only access of these numbers. Because it used to be a time when we had to remember these numbers because we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have, now the kids of today, they know all about cell phones and everything like that, and they don't know a world without it. But I remember a world without it. And I remember when I had to remember 7 numbers. I know, that's thinking back before we had to dial all 10. We only had to remember 7 numbers. And some of us even remember rotary phones. Hello, do I have a witness? But listen, we're in a new time. And I know that is a thing of the past, but there's just some numbers that you have to remember. You have to keep in tuck, keep in your brain, okay? Know the facts. Find out how human trafficking happens in the United States. Be alert to situations the people around you may be experiencing. Increase training. Are you a professional working with people who may be experiencing or at risk of experiencing human trafficking? Check out the foundational and advanced trainings available through our SOAR to Health and Wellness National Training Program, all right? Speak out. Share resources from the HHS Look Beneath the Surface campaign in your local area. Let your network know what the National Human Trafficking Hotline is there to help. Ask your elected representatives what they're doing to stop human trafficking, okay? Inform them about your community needs, all right? Be there for people at risk. You could be the friend or mentor needed now by a young person, a new immigrant, or someone else in your community. Traffickers often seek out people who are facing a difficult situation, do not have resources to meet their needs, or are missing important social connections. Your support could make the difference, all right? Take action in your community. Locate local anti-trafficking organizations. Ask them how you can help. They might need volunteers, resources, or help raising awareness. Work with others in your community to create protective factors for people who are at risk of trafficking or experiencing it now. These factors range from access to safe housing and health and mental health services to employment, childcare, and education. Learn more from webinar series on protective factors for children. Okay, so there is a webinar on this stuff. All right. Build partnerships, connect with the professionals and institutions from schools to healthcare providers that may be serving people who are experiencing human trafficking. Okay. Tap your skills and networks. Are you a teacher or school administrator? Create a human trafficking school safety protocol. Work at a hospital, emergency room, urgent care center, substance use clinic, or mental health center. And then, are you an attorney? All right. Tap into your skills and network and help prevent this from happening, and also be an aid in helping someone get out of it if they are in the situation already. Okay. Think before you buy. Consider how you shop and eat. Who made your clothes? Who prepared your food? Find out which goods may be produced by child or forced labor. All right. Stay current. All right. There is a newsletter, OTIPS newsletter. There's an OTIPS LinkedIn, and the Administration for Children and Families, Facebook, Instagram, or X, and check out OTIPS newsfeed. All right. There's always more to learn. Last slide. You may seek help. You might know someone who is in a trafficking situation, a family member, a student, a patient, a tenant, coworker, or someone else. If you or someone you know has experienced human trafficking, there is help. All right. The National Human Trafficking Hotline provides free confidential support 24/7. So make sure you call 1-888-373-7888 or text help to 233-733, which is Be Free. Or you can chat via humantraffickinghotline.org/chat. I'll read that again. You can call 1-888-373-7888 or text help to 233-733, which is Be Free. Or you can chat via humantraffickinghotline.org/chat. All right. This is to seek help for someone who is already in a trafficking situation. All right. So, guys, that concludes my presentation. I made sure to be very thorough because I want y'all to have the information. All right. I never want to do an important topic such as this without having the facts and without having the proper information for you guys. So I truly, truly hope that you have learned something from this episode. And I truly hope that you got something out of this. All right. Let me see. Rebe said this is a very important topic. She said we need this. She said I'll send him to you. The man, I don't know if he was a former something, but he breaks it all down, and it's caused me to be even more aware. She said, yes, the spike strips. How are they ordering this mess? If you not PennDOT or work in certain job positions, why are you allowed to order this without question? She said, oh, yes, I got a job offer from Indeed. I left that platform a year ago. So how are you asking me about a job from a few years ago? Very suspicious. Indeed is a new way to lure people. She said they're cutting power now. Damn, we are deep in of the matrix. We are in the deep end of the matrix. She said, nope, I stopped too because I help anyone. She said, I meant to say these job posts are a new way too. She said, we need you because you are doing this, raising awareness. Thank you so much. She said, that's scary. She said, stop posting your location. Someone slid into my DMs and asked what area I was in because it looks familiar. I said, it's around, and left it at that. Felt like they were fishing for my area. She said they are in on it too. She said, yes, I remember the alphabets were used for phone numbers EV6, SH7. I'm that old. Listen, I didn't mean to laugh, but Rebe, stop it. You remember when you had to call the operator? The operator, can you connect me with? Just joking. But I thank you guys so much. If you have made it this far in this live, thank you so much. Even if you started watching it, you got an idea what I'm going to be. If you got an idea what I was going to talk about tonight, and you feel this information is useful and helpful to other people, please share the love by sharing the live, share the information. Do not keep this a secret. I couldn't care less about the views or anything. I want people to be aware. Okay, there are people doing great work on YouTube, spreading awareness of other things through their platform, and I want to do my part, as small as it is, to bring awareness to this important topic. All right, so I hope you got a lot of value out of what I've shown you tonight. I have a special music video of the week. The music video of the week is Endangered Species by Joey DeVille, featuring Suzanne Christine and Love Money. All right, so stay tuned for this video. I know it was a long time coming, which is another song by Suzanne Christine. I know it was a long time coming for this music video of the week, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys got all the information you needed to combat this very serious issue, which is human trafficking. All right. Rebe said, thank you for this. Thank you for tuning in and sticking with me this long. And she said, yes, Joey is a sweetheart. I agree wholeheartedly. And that concludes the hot topic of the night. You won't see me anymore after this because I'm going to do the music video of the week, and then I'm going to close out the live. But I thank you so much for tuning into this live. Also, if you're watching a replay, make sure you hashtag replay in the comments. Share your ideas on human trafficking. If you want to share a story, if you want to share more resources, if you need access to the resources, it has been laid out in this live. Make sure you rewind, rewatch, and share. Like, comment, share, turn on that notification bell, subscribe to my channel, Think Different TV YouTube channel, so you don't miss out on any exclusive interviews, replays, anything that Think Different TV does. All right, I want y'all to be informed and entertained. I want y'all to be educated as well on the topics. So edutainment is something that I really want to bring to the show, and I hope you got a lot of value out of it. Tomorrow we have our Think Different TV's Play or Pass, which is airing at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and BDBGP is going up against Swiss Wines. So I hope that you will be in the building for that. It will not only air on YouTube, it will also air on Twitch and Facebook and Instagram. So without further ado, I'm going to go and throw on our music video of the week and close out the night. I love you guys. And I think that's pretty much it. I think I did a good job. You know, good job, girl. You did a good job. No, man. You know, I'll be working. You know, I'll be working hard. You know. All right, I'm gonna stop. All right, I'm done patting myself on the back. Love you guys. Bye.
I'm coming in hot.
Hey guys. guys, Lashia here from Think Different TV, which is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shout out to my Tdtv fam all over the country. And I have a Tdtv exclusive for you concerning my sponsor, Euphoria Water. Euphoria Water is the cleanest, healthiest water in Philly, alkaline with minerals, no chemicals, no additives. It is good and good for you. If you're going to hydrate the right way. Get your Euphoria Water today. You can find Euphoria Water on IG under Euphoria Water. That's UPHORIAWATER. And if you live in the Philadelphia area and want Euphoria Water delivered to your home, contact Captain at 267-707-8279. And why are we in my bathroom? Well, I want to show you my new Euphoria Water shower head. There you go. It's so bright and shiny and beautiful. It took me literally seconds to set up. I just unscrewed my old one and screwed this one on. It has several different settings. You can get the jet setting. You can do the regular shower setting. It is amazing. And also to know that I have the purest water hit my body is the greatest feeling. So make sure you make this investment because I am so happy that I made this investment. Call Captain at 267-707-8279 to put in that order, or you can hit them up on Euphoria Water on IG. I'm telling you, it's the best investment, the best thing I ever did.
Hey, this is your favorite niece, Aaliyah. You're watching Think Different TV, hosted by Lashia, and this is the music video of the week.
Follow me, children. Wade through the water strong. God give us freedom. If He is with me, what stands against all of my children? Wade through the water strong. God give us freedom. No enemy can stand against me. Jah make us free.
Living in the ghetto, staring at the ceiling. I'm so fucking numb, I swear I ain't got no feeling. I hope that I'm forgiven, cause lately I just been sinning. Crying out for help, just wishing someone to listen. Politicians keep on promising shit that we never given. The poverty we live in, the reason we keep on killing. How I'm supposed to live when ain't a thing in the kitchen. Something gotta give and my trigger finger keep itching. I'm so fucking tired, and lately I'm uninspired. I wanna fly much higher, but honestly I feel broken. Going through the motions, I'm hoping I keep on coping. Flowing through emotions, this shit is a fucking ocean. It's the poverty and all the pain that's inside of me. Bro, honestly, I'm living with animosity. Could show you Satan, or I could show you the God in me. Endangered species, a misfit to this society.
Follow me, children. Wade through the water strong. God give us freedom. If He is with me, what stands against all of my children? Wade through the water strong. God give us freedom.
Love money.
No enemy can stand against me. Jah make us free.
God gave me freedom, poverty, and reason. I turned the t-shirt, the property I'm feeding. My community on salary I'm eating. My mother Mexican, my father Puerto Rican. Wasn't looking up to Jordan, I was looking up to Miller. I had Reggie for the trade for my sneakers at the villa. Spoonfuls didn't fill us. Fried rice, no wings, no Nikes, just pro wings. I know life, I know pain. I know what bills like, I know what you feel like. You need some help here, you need some help there. So what you selling, cause I'm buying, fuck welfare. It's $1 a day, I'll give you both care. You see my footwork, help cause my foot hurt. Let's raise $1 million in a month off of spilt work. I'm talking loose change, no mood swings. Put your dollar in the pot, it's for the food chain.
Follow me, children. Wade through the water strong. God give us freedom. If He is with me, what stands against all of my children? Wade through the water strong. God give us freedom. No enemy can stand against me. Jah make us free.
Americans are so broke and they don't even realize it. I always get Americans tell me, oh, but people in Mexico only make $20 a day. You can get a full meal here for $2. The metro in Mexico City costs 5 pesos, which is like 25 cents. Yeah, people make less money here, but the cost of living is also lower. Let's say you live in the US and you make $3,500 a month after taxes. Rent, $2,000. Car payment, $500. Car insurance, $200. Health insurance, $200. Phone bill, $100. Wi-Fi bill, $50. Light bill, $150. Water bill, $100. What's the point of making more money if you don't get to keep any of it? 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 80% of you guys are in debt and don't own anything. But let's call other countries poor and let's call other people poor. The US system wants you to spend every waking moment of your life working and paying into a system that will never benefit you. Slaving away your whole life just to be retired for a measly 10 years. At least here in Mexico, we own our things. We own our houses. We own our cars. We're not in debt. And I know this is going to hurt a lot of Americans, but it's the truth.
Go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
Uh-oh, it's a content creator versus an R&B artist on this episode of Think Different TV's Player Pass. Who will be victorious? Find out by tuning in Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Think Different TV YouTube channel. Think Different TV, live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hosted by me, your girl Lashia. Join me as I discuss social topics, spotlight independent artists, and share financial tips. Join the conversation. I want to hear what you have to say. Think Different TV, where minds meet.
You're the reason I